I'm very grateful. Everybody here knows what a book is, right?
This is Mike Aquilina giving his talk on the ship.
My wife and I, though, are bookworms, and we were long before we had children. Because you people have something you're willing to die for. And if you have something you're willing to die for, you have something you're living for. And we pagans, we don't have that. We don't have that. They saw that serenity in the Christians. They saw that happiness, that peace, that lack of anxiety that marked their days, even when they had bread and circuses aplenty. They saw that, and church growth soared. Because the Christians survived, but because new Christians were born through baptism. The pagans took notice. And you know, the Emperor Julian, who was fiercely anti-Christian, he was an ex-Christian, and he despised the church. And he wanted to destroy the church. And he led the charge to re-paganize the empire, to fight the tide of Christian growth. And even he, had to grudgingly admire Christian charity. He says the impious Galileans support not only their poor, but ours as well. Everyone can see that our poor lack aid from us, and they're getting it from Christians. Scholars today speak of the contrast between pagan philanthropy, which was for show, and Christian charity, which was for Christ. Now, if you're going to continue on to Rome from the cruise, you will see the Pantheon, and you will see the Colosseum. And these things were built by acts of philanthropy. And you will know the names of the benefactors who built them, because their names are carved in letters as tall as me. I'm not that tall, but that's still pretty big. And you're not going to forget their names, because you saw them in letters so tall. That's what they wanted. That's an act of philanthropy in the ancient world. Christian acts of charity were unknown except to God. And I can't emphasize that this charitable activity was not the work of institutions. It was not the work of Catholic charities. There was no such animal in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and really for most of the 4th century. That did not come until late in the 4th century, with the likes of St. Basil of Caesarea in his new city of charity that he built as an institutional work. But early on, for the Christians, their worship, like early on, the Christians did not have a place they could call an institution, is what I want to say. Their worship, their work, their charity took place in the home.
Do all these things, but because I now am a Christian, and I am going to receive the oil of the Holy Spirit that will give me the power and the courage and the strength to live as a Christian. And I will die for this God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob if I have to. I remember a boy one time, his family, we helped him come into the Catholic Church. They were very anti-Catholic at one time. And they asked me, Steve, would you be this confirmation sponsor for Matthew? And I said, no, I couldn't do it. And the parents said, why not? We want you to. You helped us come into church. And I said, well, I can't because I travel too much and there's no way that I have the time to invest in this boy. They said, well, you meet with him just once. I said, I'll do that. I'll meet with him just once. But I knew that I had to make it memorable. I had just finished filming our movie, Apostolic Fathers, and I had bought a big silver helmet with a big red brush on it, like the centurions wore. And I had bought a 4-foot sword. It was the real deal. You could kill someone with this thing. And I bought a scabbard for it, and I used it in the movie. And when I found out that boy was coming over that evening, it was starting to get dark, I put a red blanket over my shoulder and pinned it on one side. I put the helmet on, put the sword in the sheath, and I stood in the shadows on my front porch. The car drove up the driveway. The boy got out of the car, and the parents waited as dutifully as parents do to make sure that somebody's actually home when they get in. And the boy kind of shuffled up the steps and goes, I'm going to go talk to this bald-headed guy. And as soon as he got up my steps, I I stepped out of the shadows. I pulled the sword out, and I rushed over to him, and I pushed the sword against his chest, up against the wall, and I said, "Matthew, are you ready to die for Jesus Christ right now? If not, don't waste my time. I'm a busy man." Confirmation is serious business, Matthew. If you're not ready to die for Jesus Christ, you're not ready to be confirmed, and I have no time for you. And he goes, "Mr. Rick, I can, whatever, yes." And his parents were in the car, and their eyes were big as this. "Oh no, what's happening to our son?" And I brought the boy in, and I spent 3 hours with him, talking to him about Christianity and what confirmation is. And I heard his parents told me that he told everybody about that for the next year. I think we need to teach our children what confirmation really is. This is not a place to have a party and a time to wear a pretty white dress. This is a time where you basically put a bullseye on your chest and say, "I'm ready to stand out and be marked. I will have enough evidence to convict me as a Christian." And I think every parish should have a sword. And they should teach their kids what it means. What do you It's always nice to have a little free time to wander around, stay on the ship, and just relax and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, go out for a walk. Many people went to the island of Mykonos and took the shuttle bus to the old town and had time just at the cafes and the shops and walking around and seeing a beautiful Greek island. The afternoon was free. Dinner came at 7 o'clock in the evening. And I think a lot of people went to bed early because we're going to have a nice day tomorrow and they want to be well rested.